Hello, friends. Today, let's listen to a new story. In a quiet village surrounded by green fields lived a farmer named Raghav. Raghav had a small farm, a pair of oxen, and a simple life. Every morning, the sun would rise gently over his fields, and other farmers would already be hard at work, plowing the land, watering the crops, and removing the weeds. But Raghav was different. He would stand at the edge of his field, hands on his waist, looking at the sky and sighing loudly. One day it's too hot, he would complain. Another day there's no rain. And when it rains too much. The other farmers would shake their heads and continue working. One day, his neighbor said, Raghav, instead of complaining, why don't you prepare your soil properly? The rains will come when they will come. But Raghav waved his hand dismissively. What's the use? If the rain is not right, nothing will grow anyway. Days passed, then weeks. The rainy season finally arrived. Dark clouds gathered, and the sky opened up. Rain poured over the fields. The other farmers smiled with relief. This is the time, they said. Let's sow the seeds. They worked quickly, plowing, planting, and caring for their crops. But Raghav, he stood under a tree watching the rain fall. This rain is too heavy, he muttered. It will ruin everything. He delayed his work. He did not even clear the weeds. He did not even prepare the soil. He did not even choose good seeds. Why bother? He used to tell to himself. If the rain is bad, the crops will fail anyway. Months passed. Soon, the fields in the village turned lush green. Crops swayed in the breeze, and farmers walked proudly through their harvest. But Raghav's field, it was dry in some places, flooded in others, and full of weeds. His crops were weak, uneven, and barely growing. Raghav looked at his field and grew angry. This is not my fault, he shouted. It's the rain. The weather has ruined everything. The villagers gathered around and looked at his farm. One old farmer said calmly, Raghav, the rain was the same for us all. Another added, we worked on our fields. You did not. Raghav felt embarrassed, but instead of accepting it, he turned away angrily. No, it's all bad luck, he said. Nothing ever works for me. That night, sitting alone outside his house, Raghav stared at his empty field. For the first time, something felt different. Not anger, not blame, but restlessness. Maybe I should leave this place, he thought. Maybe my luck will change somewhere else. And with that thought, he sat under the quiet night sky. Raghav made a decision that would change his life forever. Before sunrise, while the village was still asleep, Raghav quietly packed a small little bag. Without telling anyone, he stepped out of his house and began walking towards the road that led to the city. The sky was still dark, and a cool breeze followed him as he walked. Maybe things will be different there, he thought. Maybe my luck will finally change. As the day went on, the sun grew hotter. Raghav became tired and thirsty. By evening, dark clouds gathered again, and soon heavy rain began to fall. Raghav rushed and stood under a large tree for shelter. Then he noticed another man already standing, a carpenter holding a broken wooden chair. The carpenter looked frustrated. All my work is failing, he muttered. Raghav sighed. Same here. My crops failed because of bad weather. The carpenter shook his head. My problem is not the weather, he said. I rushed my work. I used weak wood to finish faster. Now everything I make breaks. Raghav looked at the broken chair. I thought I was being clever, the carpenter continued, but I was only being careless. Raghav stayed quiet. The rain slowed, and Raghav continued walking. The next day, he reached a small roadside place where a cook was sitting outside a tiny dhaba, looking worried. What happened? Raghav asked. The cook sighed deeply. My food used to be loved by everyone. Now customers don't come. Why? Raghav asked. I stopped paying attention, the cook admitted. I did not taste the food, I did not check the ingredients. I thought it would turn out fine on its own, but it didn't. The cook looked at him and said, if you don't take care of your work won't take care of you. Raghav walked on, slower now. That evening, he came across an old man sitting beside a field, a farmer. The field was neat and full of healthy crops. How do you grow such good crops? Raghav asked. Don't you face problems with rain? The old farmer smiled. Of course I do. Rain is never perfect. Then how do your crops grow so well? Raghav asked. The old man pointed to the ground. Because I prepare before the rain comes. I remove weeds. I choose good seeds. I care for the soil. Rain helps, but it cannot do the work for me. Raghav felt something shift inside him. That night, Raghav sat under the open sky thinking about everything he had learned. The carpenter, the cook, the old farmer, all of them had one thing in common. They had made mistakes, but they accepted them. Raghav closed his eyes and whispered, was it really the rain or was it me? For the first time, he did not blame the sky. He looked at his hands. The same hands that had ignored the soil, avoided the work, and chosen the easy way. I never even tried properly, he admitted softly. A deep silence filled that night, and in that silence, Raghav finally understood the truth he had been running away from. The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight touched the ground, Raghav made his decision. I am going back, he said quietly, not to complain, but to work. The journey back felt different. The same road, the same trees, the same sky, but Raghav was not the same person anymore. This time, he walked with purpose. When he reached the village, people noticed him. Raghav is back, they whispered. He met the same farmers who had once advised him. This time, he did not argue. He simply said, you were right. I did not do my work properly. The farmers looked at him, surprised. They said nothing, but they could see something had changed. Raghav went straight to his field. It was still the same, full of weeds, uneven soil, and weak crops. For a moment, he stood there silently. Earlier, he would have looked at the sky and complained. But not today. He picked up his tools and began to work. One day after another, from morning till evening, Raghav worked without complaints. He cleared the weeds patiently. He prepared the soil properly. He chose better seeds this time. He watered the field carefully. Some days were hot. Some days were very tiring. But Raghav did not stop. He no longer blamed the rain. He focused only on his work. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, small green shoots began to appear. Raghav noticed them and smiled. A quiet, hopeful smile. He continued working, taking care of every small detail. The villagers began to notice. Look at Raghav's field, one farmer said. It's improving, said another. The same neighbor, who had once advised him, nodded and said, he has finally understood. When the next season came, Raghav's field looked completely different. It was green, healthy, and full of life. The crops stood strong, moving gently with the wind. Raghav stood at the edge of his field once again. But this time, he was not complaining. He looked at his field, then at the sky, and simply smiled. From that day on, whenever someone in the village complained about bad luck or blamed the weather, Raghav would gently say, rain can help your crops, but it cannot do the work for you. The moral of the story is, before blaming others or fate, make sure you have done your part with honesty and effort. Sai Hira Bal.